I used to rely on store-bought fertilizer for everything in my garden. It felt necessary, like plants wouldn't grow without it. Then I stopped buying it completely, and what happened next changed everything. The garden didn't slow down. It grew faster than ever. It started with a simple decision: use what was already available. Instead of purchasing fertilizers, I began collecting kitchen scraps, vegetable peels, fruit leftovers, coffee grounds, and eggshells. What used to be waste became the foundation of a new system. The first step was choosing a space for composting. It didn't need to be large, just a small corner where organic material could break down naturally. A basic compost pile was created using layers. Green materials like fresh scraps were combined with dry materials such as leaves, cardboard, or dry grass. This balance was important. Too much of one type could slow the process, but the right mix created steady decomposition. Over time, the pile began to change. Heat built up inside, breaking down the materials. What once looked like waste slowly turned into dark, rich compost. While that process continued, another method was used directly in the garden. Small amounts of organic material were added around plants and lightly covered with soil. This allowed nutrients to return directly to the ground without waiting for full composting. The soil responded quickly. It became softer, easier to work with, and better at holding moisture. Instead of needing constant feeding, the soil itself became the source of nutrients. Watering also improved. With more organic matter, the soil retained moisture longer, reducing the need for frequent watering. Plants experienced less stress and more consistent growth. As weeks passed, the plants began to show visible changes. Leaves became greener and stronger. Growth accelerated, and new shoots appeared more frequently. The garden looked more alive. Another benefit was the presence of natural life in the soil. Worms and microorganisms increased, helping break down organic material and release nutrients in a form plants could easily absorb. This created a self-sustaining system. Instead of adding nutrients from the outside, the garden began producing its own. Different plants responded in their own way, but the overall pattern was clear: healthier growth, stronger roots, and better resilience. Maintenance also became simpler. There was no need to measure or apply synthetic products. The process became part of a routine: collect, return, and let nature do the rest. Even small spaces benefited from this method. Containers, raised beds, or backyard gardens all showed improvement when organic material was added consistently. Over time, the results became undeniable. The garden didn't just survive without fertilizer, it thrived. Production increased, harvests became more frequent, and the overall quality improved. Fruits and vegetables developed better flavor, supported by a richer, more balanced soil. Another important change was cost. By using what was already available, the need to buy fertilizers disappeared completely. The system became not only effective, but also sustainable. At harvest time, the difference was clear. Plants were productive, soil was rich, and the cycle continued without interruption. Nothing was wasted. Kitchen scraps returned to the soil fed the plants, and the plants fed the family. This closed-loop system replaced the need for external inputs. What started as an experiment became the new standard. Now, instead of buying fertilizer, I build soil. And that made all the difference. Because when the soil is healthy, everything else follows. Sometimes, the best solution isn't adding more, it's using what you already have. And in this case, that simple shift made the garden grow stronger than ever.